Do you think that the Suns have officially flipped the switch for the playoffs already?
By answering this, I just want to say, one more thing at the end of the season. Shout out to Bradley Beal for really, and we talked about this. I really feel like he had been the MVP of at least the last 3 games, stepping up. I believe he was averaging 22, something like that, averaging 22 points a game in that stretch. Really, I felt like put the team on his back. Especially in that Kings game. 100% it was Bradley Beal in that Kings game, right? And so just want to say shout out to him. And so have the Suns flipped the switch? I would say if you continue to get this from Bradley Beal as well as you what you get from Booker and Durant, yeah, I think they flipped the switch. Here's the deal. We talked about this, and even the team talked about it. Kevin Durant and Booker were talking about it, how they told Bradley Beal, hey, man, I know that you are the point guard, but hey, man, we need you to start scoring, and that was discussed. I remember through these last few weeks was discussed mainly between Vogel and Durant and Booker, and Beal's done it. And I think if you can continue to give this Bradley Beal the assertive, I'm going to drive, I'm going to make something of it. He's been lights out from 3 in the last few games as well. You get this guy. I mean, yeah, I think they flip the switch if you have this Bradley Beal, and I think you will moving forward. I think he has decided to be more assertive and say, hey, yeah, I'm not going to let this team down. I'm going to do what I need to do to win these games. And so, yeah, I will say, yes, they have flipped the switch. You can also say the team that we're facing is going to be a really tough and physical series. And so both things can be true. Yes, be optimistic that, we don't know how this series is going to go, but at the same time, yeah, this team has flipped the switch. They look different. They look like they're putting in way more effort. They know what time it is. And so, yeah, they flipped the switch. Now, this series coming up, going to be extremely physical in my opinion. It's going to be really hard with a Gobert and Ant Edwards, players like that on that team who are tough players. And so, yeah, this is going to be a physical series. It's a completely different subject than have we turned on the switch. I think we have turned on the switch, but this series is going to be tough.
Can't help but notice you didn't call Cat tough. So moving on, my part of it is pretty similar, honest to God. Like, have you ever accidentally done that thing where you go to flip your switch for your light and it gets stuck midway?
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't go all the way up. The switch itself is like lodged in the middle for,
yeah,
that's where I think we're at. I think we've pushed the switch, but it hasn't gone all the way off. Bradley Beal's switch is flipped. We can tell that. You can tell he's playing with this reckless abandon and passion because he's never been there. He's never been anywhere super important in the playoffs. He's been to the playoffs, but never deep like he thinks the Suns
or had expectations to make the NBA Finals, right? Yeah, you never had championship aspirations on the Wizards at all.
So he's got his, index finger on that switch trying to flip it. He needs Book to help steady his hand and then KD to help steady his hand some more. Flip that thing. If they can get those two guys to flip it with him, the switch will be flipped and the Suns could do anything.
Well,
they could do anything.
I don't necessarily think it has to be Durant and Booker as well. I mean, Grayson Allen stepping up, Royce O'Neal stepping up. God forbid, Eric Gordon get out of his own way and he steps up, and then you'll have something, right? I think the big three will do their job. It's really going to come down to, yes, Bradley Beal continuing playing the way he's going to play, and then your role players stepping up, a Bol stepping up, Royce O'Neal, Drew Eubanks. Man, Drew Eubanks is going to, I really feel like he's going to be the how do I word this? I'm not gonna I don't want to say he's the key, but him coming in situations and having to guard Rudy Gobert can either be really good or really, really bad, and there's no in between with Drew Eubanks. So I think this series is going to depend on our role players a lot.